Ladies and gentlemen, let me slow this thing down and talk to you real clear about self-discipline, because this one habit right here separates the people who only dream from the people who actually live different. Self-discipline is doing what needs to be done even when you don't feel like it. And let me tell you something about feelings. Feelings will lie to you. Your feelings will tell you to stay in bed, to quit, to procrastinate, to wait until tomorrow. But tomorrow is the most dangerous word in the world, because tomorrow will keep moving further and further away. See, mentally strong people don't wake up every day excited. They wake up committed. Commitment is stronger than excitement. Discipline is stronger than motivation. Motivation is like a visitor. It shows up when it wants to. Discipline lives with you. Discipline wakes you up when it's dark. Discipline tells you to practice when nobody is clapping. Discipline tells you to keep going when results haven't shown up yet. And that right there is where most people quit, right before the breakthrough. You want to know why disciplined people are attractive? Because they can be trusted. They show up on time. They finish what they start. They don't make excuses for everything that goes wrong. In a world full of talkers, disciplined people are doers, and doers stand out. When people look at you and see consistency, they feel safe around you. They respect you. They listen to you. You don't have to announce your strength. Discipline introduces you before you speak. Ladies and gentlemen, let me slow this thing down and talk to you real clear about self-discipline, because this one habit right here separates the people who only dream from the people who actually live different. Self-discipline is doing what needs to be done even when you don't feel like it. And let me tell you something about feelings. Feelings will lie to you. Your feelings will tell you to stay in bed, to quit, to procrastinate, to wait until tomorrow. But tomorrow is the most dangerous word in the world, because tomorrow will keep moving further and further away. See, mentally strong people don't wake up every day excited. They wake up committed. Commitment is stronger than excitement. Discipline is stronger than motivation. Motivation is like a visitor. It shows up when it wants to. Discipline lives with you. Discipline wakes you up when it's dark. Discipline tells you to practice when nobody is clapping. Discipline tells you to keep going when results haven't shown up yet. And that right there is where most people quit, right before the breakthrough. You want to know why disciplined people are attractive? Because they can be trusted. They show up on time. They finish what they start. They don't make excuses for everything that goes wrong. In a world full of talkers, disciplined people are doers, and doers stand out. When people look at you and see consistency, they feel safe around you. They respect you. They listen to you. You don't have to announce your strength. Discipline introduces you before you speak. Now let me be honest with you. Discipline is uncomfortable. If it was easy, everybody would have it. Discipline means saying no to yourself more than you say no to others. It means turning down short-term pleasure for long-term peace. It means sacrificing comfort today so you can have freedom tomorrow. And most people don't want freedom bad enough to be uncomfortable for a while. They want success without sacrifice, strength without struggle, results without repetition. But life don't work like that. Here's the truth I had to learn. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your habits. When life hits you, and it will, you won't magically become strong. You will default to what you practice daily. If you practice quitting, you'll quit. If you practice excuses, you'll make excuses. But if you practice discipline, you'll stand firm even when everything around you is shaking. Self-discipline also builds something priceless, self-respect. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, your confidence grows. Every time you don't, you chip away at your belief. That's why some people don't trust themselves anymore. They've broken too many promises to their own potential. But the good news is this: it's never too late to rebuild that trust. Start small. Do what you said you were going to do today, not tomorrow. Today, let me tell you something else. Discipline doesn't mean perfection. You're going to mess up. You're going to slip. But disciplined people don't quit because of a bad day. They don't let one mistake become a lifestyle. They get back up, they adjust, and they keep moving. That ability to recover, that resilience, that consistency over time, that's mental strength. And when you walk with discipline, people feel it. You don't have to brag. You don't have to post everything. Your results will speak for you. Your posture will change. Your walk will change. Your mindset will change. You stop asking for permission to be great because discipline has already given you the confidence to stand on your own. Ladies and gentlemen, let me talk to you about something that can save your future, protect your peace, and elevate your entire life if you learn how to master it, and that is controlling your emotions in your mouth. This right here is where a lot of people lose opportunities they prayed for. Not because they weren't talented, not because they weren't capable, but because they reacted instead of responding. Life will push your buttons on purpose. People will test you on purpose. Situations will show up uninvited just to see how much control you really have. Mentally strong people feel the same emotions everybody else feels. They get angry, disappointed, hurt, frustrated, and tired. The difference is they don't let those emotions drive the car. They don't give their feelings the steering wheel. When you speak out of anger, you usually say the one thing you can't take back. And once words are out, you can't rewind them. You can apologize, but the damage is already done. That's why emotional control is not weakness, it's power. Let me tell you something real simple. Everybody doesn't deserve a reaction from you. Some people are sent into your life just to see if you'll lose your cool. They want to pull you down to their level because they can't rise to yours. When you learn how to stay quiet in moments where your old self would have exploded, you confuse people. Calmness makes noise in a loud world. Silence can speak louder than shouting ever will. See, when you control your mouth, you protect your destiny. Opportunities are fragile. Relationships are fragile. One emotional outburst can close a door that took years to open. Mentally strong people understand timing. They know when to speak and when to listen. They don't try to win every argument because they understand that winning an argument and winning in life are two different things. You can be right and still lose. You can prove your point and still miss your blessing. Let me be clear, this doesn't mean you let people walk over you. It means you choose your battles wisely. Strength is not always about pushing back. Sometimes strength is about stepping back. When you pause before you respond, you give wisdom time to show up. That pause, that moment of silence, is where growth lives. That's where maturity is formed. Another thing about emotional control is this: people are always watching how you handle pressure. They may not tell you, but they are paying attention. Employers, family members, friends, and even strangers are watching to see how you act when things don't go your way. When you stay composed under pressure, people trust you with more responsibility. They see leadership in you. And leadership is attractive. Your mouth also plays a huge role in your mental strength. Words create environments. If you constantly complain, you train your mind to focus on what's wrong. If you constantly speak negativity, your brain starts to believe there's no way out. Mentally strong people don't deny reality, but they don't dwell in negativity either. They speak solutions. They speak faith. They speak progress even when the situation isn't perfect. Let me tell you something I had to learn. You don't have to tell everybody how you feel. Some people will use your emotions against you. They'll twist your words, judge your honesty, and label your vulnerability. That's why mentally strong people are selective. They know when to open up and who to open up to. Privacy is protection. Silence is strategy. And here's the hardest part. Controlling your emotions when nobody else is watching, when you're alone with your thoughts, when disappointment hits at night, when things don't work out the way you planned. Mentally strong people don't self-destruct in private. They don't beat themselves up with negative self-talk. They process the emotion, learn the lesson, and move forward. That inner control is what builds unshakable confidence. When you master your emotions and your mouth, you become steady. And in a world full of unstable people, steadiness stands out. People feel safe around you. They trust your judgment. They respect your presence. You don't have to announce your strength. Your calm introduces you before you speak. Ladies and gentlemen, let me talk to you about the habit of continuous growth, because the moment you stop growing is the moment you start shrinking, even if you don't notice it right away. Growth is not something you do once and check off a list. Growth is a lifestyle, and mentally strong people understand this. They are either learning, improving, or preparing. They never assume they have arrived, because arrival is the most dangerous mindset you can have. See, a lot of people want success, but they don't want the process that builds the person who can handle success. They want the reward without the responsibility. But growth shapes your character. Growth stretches your mind. Growth humbles you before life has to embarrass you. When you commit to learning something every day, you become deeper. And depth is attractive. People are drawn to those who have substance, wisdom, and understanding, not just surface-level talk. Mentally strong people ask questions. They listen more than they speak. They observe before they react. They are not threatened by someone who knows more than them because they understand that knowledge is not competition. It's a resource. Insecure people pretend to know everything. Strong people are willing to admit, "I don't know yet." That word "yet" is powerful because it leaves room for growth. Let me tell you something, if you don't invest in your mind, the world will program it for you. Social media, negative conversations, fear-based news, and other people's limitations will shape your thinking if you allow it. Mentally strong people are intentional about what they consume. They read books that stretch them. They listen to conversations that challenge them. They spend time with people who think bigger than they do. Growth doesn't happen by accident. It happens by choice. And here's the thing most people miss. Growth requires discomfort. You can't stay the same and become better at the same time. Learning something new will make you feel awkward. Improving will expose your weaknesses. And that's exactly why most people avoid it. They would rather stay familiar than be uncomfortable. But mentally strong people understand that discomfort is the tuition you pay for improvement. If it's uncomfortable, it's probably working. Growth also teaches you patience. You don't become wise overnight. You don't master skills instantly. Strong minds respect the process. They show up every day, even when progress feels slow. They trust that small improvements, done consistently, will compound over time. And that patience shows in how they move. They don't rush. They don't panic. They don't compare their chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 20. That calm confidence is attractive. Let me say this clearly, growth is not about perfection. It's about progress. You're going to fail. You're going to make mistakes. But mentally strong people don't quit learning because of failure. They study it. They ask, "What can this teach me?" Instead of letting failure define them, they let it refine them. That mindset turns setbacks into setups for something better. Another powerful part of growth is unlearning. Some of the things you were taught are holding you back. Some beliefs you picked up along the way no longer serve you. Mentally strong people are willing to let go of old habits, outdated thinking, and toxic patterns. They don't defend what's no longer working just because it's familiar. Letting go takes strength. And when you release what's limiting you, you create space for what's meant for you. When you commit to growth, your conversations change. Your priorities change. Your standards change. You stop being impressed by things that used to excite you, and you start being focused on things that truly matter. People around you will notice the shift. Some will be inspired. Some will feel uncomfortable. That's part of the process. Growth will separate you from certain environments, and that separation is not loss, it's alignment. Mentally strong people never stop evolving. They understand that the world is changing, and staying relevant means staying teachable. When you make growth a habit, you don't just become smarter, you become stronger, wiser, and more grounded. And in a world full of people who refuse to grow, the one who is constantly improving will always stand out. Ladies and gentlemen, let me talk to you about one of the most powerful habits you will ever build, and that is the way you talk to yourself when nobody else is around. This conversation you have in your mind every single day is shaping your confidence, your courage, and your mental strength more than anything happening on the outside. People think their biggest battles are with the world, but the real fight is internal. If you don't learn how to master your inner dialogue, you will always struggle on the outside, no matter how talented you are. See, your mind is always listening. It doesn't know the difference between a joke and a belief. It hears repetition, and whatever you repeat becomes your reality. When you constantly tell yourself that you're not good enough, not ready, or not capable, Your mind accepts that as truth and starts acting accordingly. Mentally strong people understand this, so they are very careful with the words they use when they talk to themselves. They don't lie to themselves, but they don't tear themselves down either. Let me tell you something important. Confidence is not about never having doubt. Everybody has doubt. Confidence is about what you say after doubt shows up. Do you agree with it? Or do you challenge it? Mentally strong people challenge negative thoughts. They don't allow fear to sit comfortably in their mind. When fear says, you can't do this, they respond with, I've handled hard things before. When doubt says, you're not ready, they respond with, I'll grow as I go. That inner response is where strength is built. A lot of people are walking around wounded, not because life hit them too hard, but because they've been beating themselves up for years. They replay mistakes over and over. They relive failures as if they define who they are. Mentally strong people don't deny their past, but they don't live in it either. They learn the lesson and let the pain go. They refuse to let one chapter become the title of the entire book. That ability to forgive yourself is attractive because it creates peace, not bitterness. Your self-talk also determines how you handle pressure. When challenges show up, weak self-talk says, why is this happening to me? Strong self-talk says, what is this teaching me? That shift changes everything. One mindset creates stress and anxiety. The other creates growth and resilience. Mentally strong people coach themselves through hard moments. They encourage themselves when nobody else does. They become their own support system instead of waiting for validation from the outside. Let me be clear about something. Positive self-talk is not pretending everything is perfect. It's choosing to speak with faith instead of fear. It's choosing to focus on solutions instead of problems. It's choosing progress over perfection. When you talk to yourself with respect, your posture changes. Your decisions change. Your energy changes. People feel that confidence even if they can't explain it. Another thing about strong self-talk is consistency. You can't speak power one day and destruction the next and expect stability. Mentally strong people practice intentional self-talk daily. They remind themselves of their purpose. They remind themselves of what they've already overcome. They remind themselves that growth takes time. That repetition builds mental muscle, just like repetition in the gym builds physical strength. And here's something most people don't realize: how you talk to yourself teaches others how to treat you. When you respect yourself, you set a standard. When you believe in yourself, you stop settling. When you stop apologizing for who you are, you become grounded. That grounding is attractive. It's not loud. It's not arrogant. It's quiet confidence. Mentally strong people don't wait for life to affirm them. They affirm themselves. They don't depend on applause to keep going. They know who they are even in silence. And when you master your inner voice, the outside world no longer controls your worth. Ladies and gentlemen, let me talk to you about something that will protect your sanity, strengthen your confidence, and completely change the way people treat you. And that is the habit of protecting your energy. Most people are tired not because they do too much, but because they give too much of themselves to the wrong people, the wrong situations, and the wrong conversations. Mental strength is not just about what you can handle, it's about what you refuse to tolerate. See, everybody does not deserve access to you. Everybody does not deserve your time, your explanations, your emotions, or your presence. And the moment you understand that, your life gets lighter. Mentally strong people don't feel guilty for setting boundaries. They understand that boundaries are not walls meant to push people away. They are filters meant to protect what matters most. And protection is not weakness, it's wisdom. Let me tell you something real. Every room you walk into has an energy. Every conversation you enter either adds to you or drains you. Mentally strong people are aware of this. They pay attention to how they feel after interacting with certain people. If they constantly feel exhausted, confused, or doubting themselves, they don't ignore that feeling. They listen to it. Energy never lies. One of the hardest lessons in life is learning when to step back. Sometimes the strongest move you can make is not to argue, not to explain, not to prove your point, but to walk away. Weak people feel the need to be understood by everyone. Strong people are comfortable being misunderstood. They know who they are, and they don't need external validation to confirm it. Protecting your energy also means learning how to say no without guilt. Every time you say yes to something that doesn't align with your values or your purpose, you're saying no to something that could move you forward. Mentally strong people understand that time is limited and energy is precious. They don't overcommit just to please others. They don't sacrifice their peace to avoid disappointing someone. They choose alignment over approval. Another part of protecting your energy is limiting exposure to negativity. Constant complaining, gossip, drama, and toxic environments slowly wear down your mind. You may not notice it at first, but over time, it affects your confidence and your outlook on life. Mentally strong people are intentional about their environment. They choose conversations that uplift. They choose spaces that allow them to think clearly. They choose silence over chaos when necessary. Let me say this clearly, protecting your energy will cost you some relationships. Some people will not understand the new you. Some will feel uncomfortable when you stop overgiving and over-explaining. That doesn't mean you're wrong. It means you're growing. Growth requires separation. And separation is not rejection, it's redirection. When you protect your energy, your focus improves. Your decision-making becomes clearer. Your emotional reactions become calmer. You stop reacting to everything and start responding with intention. People feel that shift. They sense your boundaries even before you speak. And when people know they can't easily disturb your peace, they treat you differently. Mentally strong people value peace over chaos, clarity over confusion, and purpose over popularity. They understand that being available to everyone makes you unavailable to yourself. So they guard their time, their thoughts, and their emotional space. And when you do that, you don't just become mentally stronger, you become grounded, confident, and deeply attractive in a way that doesn't fade. Ladies and gentlemen, let me talk to you about the habit that keeps you standing when everything else tries to knock you down, and that is living with gratitude and a clear sense of purpose. This is the foundation. Without gratitude, success feels empty. Without purpose, strength feels directionless. Mentally strong people are not just driven, they are grounded. They know why they wake up in the morning, and they are thankful that they get another chance to try again. See, gratitude changes your perspective. It doesn't mean life is perfect. It means you refuse to let problems blind you to your blessings. Everybody has something going wrong, but everybody also has something going right. The difference between mentally strong people and everyone else is focus. When you focus only on what's missing, you live in frustration. When you focus on what you still have, you live in strength. Gratitude trains your mind to see abundance even in difficult seasons. Let me tell you something real. Complaining is easy. Anybody can complain. It takes no skill and no courage. But gratitude takes discipline. It takes maturity to say, I'm still thankful when things didn't go your way. Mentally strong people don't deny pain, but they don't let pain define their entire outlook. They acknowledge the struggle and still appreciate the lesson. That mindset builds resilience. Purpose is what gives your life direction. When you don't know why you're here, every setback feels personal. Every rejection feels like failure. But when you have purpose, rejection becomes redirection. Failure becomes feedback. Mentally strong people understand that not everything is meant to work out. Some doors close because they were never meant for you in the first place. Purpose gives you peace in moments of disappointment. Another thing about purpose is this: it keeps you from chasing approval. When you know your why, you stop trying to impress people who don't matter. You stop comparing your journey to someone else's timeline. You stop measuring your worth by likes, applause, or opinions. Mentally strong people move with intention. They don't rush. They don't panic. They trust the process because they trust their purpose. Gratitude also keeps you humble. No matter how far you go, gratitude reminds you where you came from. It reminds you that someone helped you along the way, that something greater than you carried you through moments you couldn't handle on your own. Humility is attractive. People respect those who stay grounded while rising higher. Gratitude keeps your heart right while your life improves. Let me say this clearly. Purpose does not mean life will be easy. It means life will be meaningful. Mentally strong people still get tired. They still get discouraged. But they don't quit. because quitting would betray their purpose. When you're connected to something bigger than yourself, you can endure more than you ever imagined. Purpose gives you stamina. Gratitude also strengthens your mental health. When you wake up thankful, you reduce anxiety about what you don't control. You focus on what you can do today instead of worrying about everything that might go wrong tomorrow. Mentally strong people stay present. They don't live trapped in the past or paralyzed by the future. Gratitude anchors them in the now. And here's the powerful part. When you live with gratitude and purpose, your energy changes. You walk different. You speak different. You respond different. People feel your calm. They feel your clarity. They feel your direction. You don't have to announce your purpose. It shows in how you move. And when life tests you, as it always will, gratitude keeps your heart full and purpose keeps your feet moving forward.